Let the circle be wide round the fireside, and we'll soon make room for you. Let your heart have no fear, for there's no strangers here, just friends that you never knew. We will travel along on the wings of song, with a mind that is open and free. If we close our eyes to the other side, we're just half of what we could be. So let the circle be wide round the fireside, and we'll soon make room for you. Let your heart have no fear, for there's no strangers here, just friends that you never knew. Hello, my name's Tommy Sands, and I hope you have the time, taste and temperament to stay with me for the next while and while of an evening by wandering around Rostrevor and Kilkeel and what's betwixt and in between. I live in Rostrevor. I wasn't brought up in Rostrevor. I was brought down to Rostrevor at a very early age by my Aunt Kitty from the hip of the magical Crockshee Mountain in Killowen. And sometimes at Moffat's Gates we'd get the bus and go to the right to Rostrevor, and sometimes take the 39 to the left to Kilkeel. And that must have made a big impression on me a long time ago, because I've travelled the world several times and I ended up in Rostrevor, and I like to visit Kilkeel sometimes. And that came to my mind when I was walking through Kilkeel some months ago, and I saw all these colours, not the usual colours, even more than the usual colours, in a window of a community shop called Made in Mourne. And they weren't the usual colours, they were colours that you'd only find maybe pointed out by a painter's eye between the images of light. And I thought, wouldn't it be beautiful for the people in Rostrevor to see all these paintings and arts and crafts and so on, and for the people in Kilkeel to see what's going on in Rostrevor. So I suppose we're very special, both very special neighbouring towns, but sometimes hope and history dilly-dally a lot in rhyming. But musicians and artists and sports people and all those sort of people are always in between, learning from each other and growing with each other. So we came upon this idea to have an event in Rostrevor and in Kilkeel, a gathering of all the musicians and artists from both places. But COVID, of course, kicking on the door. So we decided to do something online instead. And there are things that you can do live that you can't do online. But there are also things that you can do online that you can't do live, as you'll see later on. Anyway, I'm going to revisit the two young ladies who were in that shop in Kilkeel. But before that, I want to introduce you to a man from Kilkeel that I didn't know before, who came down to see me in Rostrevor. He's a wonderful singer. He comes from a wonderful singing family. Sister and brother, parents were all musical people. But he accompanies himself on an instrument that I've never seen a song being accompanied on before. He's actually 5 times world champion on this instrument, or mace. He was drum major champion, 5 times world champion. I want you to welcome from Kilkeel, Alan McBride.
I don't know if you can see the changes that have come over me in these last few days. I've been afraid that I might drift away, and I've been telling stories, singing songs that make me think about where I've come from. That's the reason why I seem so far away today. Let me tell you that I love you, that I think about you all the time. Caledonia, you're calling me, now I'm going home. But if I should become a stranger, it would make me more than sad. Caledonia's been everything I've ever had. Now I have moved and kept on moving, proved the points that I needed proving, lost the friends that I needed losing, found others on the way. And I have cried and left them crying, stolen dreams, yes, there's no denying. I've traveled hard, sometimes with conscience flying, somewhere in the wind. Let me tell you that I love you, that I think about you all the time. Caledonia, you're calling me, now I'm going home. But if I should become a stranger, it would make me more than sad. Caledonia's been everything I've ever had. Now I'm sitting here before the fire, the empty room and the forest choir. The flames have cooled, don't get any higher, they've withered now, they've gone. But I'm steady thinking, my way is clear, I know what I will do tomorrow when the hands have shaken and the kisses float, and I will disappear. Let me tell you that I love you, that I think about you all the time. Caledonia, you're calling me, now I'm going home. But if I should become a stranger, it would make me more than sad. Caledonia's been everything I've ever had.
That was brilliant.
Alan, fantastic stuff. Fantastic. I'm just thinking about you in the World Championships. Must be nerve-wracking. How is it scored?
Well, back then when I was competing, it was a different setup. You were judged at a 20 for your uniform. So if you had mistakes in your uniform, if it wasn't on the right direction or the right way, you lost points.
We forgive you this time. See you.
Okay, this is my uniform for today. Yeah.
Yes.
And then you were judged out of 40 points for flourishing, which is spinning the mace.
Yes.
And out of 40 points for marching, which was a total of 100. That's what you could assess.
And are you allowed to stop or?
No, when you are flourishing the mace and throwing and catching, you must keep marching. If you hesitate to catch or reach to either side, you lose points and you've more or less lost the contest. So you have to do everything without stepping out of line.
So it must be amazing discipline.
It is. It's difficult because then you have the weather to take into consideration. You have the sun or you have the wind, yes, or whatever. So that all those factors come into play as well.
So you'd feel the wind and you'd throw her up to allow it to do whatever
and
it did.
Pray.
Yes.
Just let me get it into my hand again, sort of thing. It's very difficult.
It's fantastic. Well, you know, I've been looking at this, and how you do that, I do not know. It's incredible.
Would you like to try?
Oh, there's no point.
Could you give it a go? If I show you something basic, could you try it?
Well, I'll give her a go, but...
right, well, if you hold it in this hand...
I think the uniform is the nearest thing that I'll...
No, the uniform looks great. At least we're coordinating. If you hold it in this hand, take it round the back,
see,
go round to the front, and something like that. Now, I know it might be a bit complicated to start with, but...
Do it one more time, please.
Right, and see. So here, round the back, here, round the back, here, and bring it up and down. That might be hard because it's something you've never done before.
I'll do it very slowly.
Your music also, try it. I think you're a ringer. I think you've done this before.
Fantastic.
Oh, it's definitely a ringer here. You've done this before, Tom.
I've watched you doing it.
Well, you picked up very quickly.
Oh my God, but it's, I mean, the speed you do it at is incredible.
Do you want to try to throw it?
Up in the air.
Okay.
Which way do I run? No.
Just hold it like that for 1 second.
Oh,
Then the other hand,
Alan, this is dangerous.
the other hand, put it in your right hand.
Oh, your right hand, yeah.
And just go like a clock, like this. Swing it back forward like a clock. Now I'm going to get out of the way and then let the head go up like that. Right, let the head go up. Just throw with the head go up that way.
Up into the air.
Yep, let it go with the head. Go, throw. That was good.
Alan, fantastic.
You got great spin in that, you just didn't catch it.
Remember there was a goalkeeper one time, he was playing goals here and he dived the full length and saved the goal, you know, and put the ball around the post. And the umpire said to him, he says, that would have been a good save if you hadn't have fallen.
Well, that would have been a good throw if you'd have caught it.
That's right. Alan McBride, what a man, and I didn't even know him before, and him just a few miles away. I better take this cap off me, because I'll know the good of it when I'm going out, because I'll be going out after a while again, but I'm going to stay in now to pay a little virtual visit to that shop in Kilkeel called Made in Mourne. And Jenna, you're with me there. You are the driving force behind it all. Could you tell us how it all came about in the first place?
Well, I can take you back to kind of the start where, as an entrepreneur myself, I had my own business and I was up and down the road to Belfast quite a bit. So I was mainly based in Belfast. And when baby number two, that was fine, obviously, or baby number one, sorry, was fine going up and down the road. But whenever I had baby number two, it just wasn't sustainable, obviously, driving up and down the road. So I then moved my business back to the Kilkeel area and I set it up in a barn in the middle of the field, just in the middle of the country, just outside Kilkeel. And obviously just per Wi-Fi, isolated, no real communication, community around me. So I then set up the Mourne Entrepreneurs Network, where we brought together like-minded individuals, and then we met on a monthly basis and just had coffee or breakfast mornings and just shared our problems and issues that we had. And there was a common thread, obviously, through that obviously poor Wi-Fi and, lack of opportunity and stuff like that. So then the opportunity then came up for us to set up a creative hub in Kilkeel, and a space became available. And then I went out to the businesses and asked them for their support, and they did. And it was a bit of a whirlwind, because from idea to open the doors in Made in Mourne, we were ready to go in 90 days, basically. So it was definitely was a whirlwind of an opportunity. So we're now there since 2017, and basically our aim is to support local entrepreneurs, inspire them, enable and grow within the Mourne area and create opportunity. And we do that through, obviously, the shop, which is on the ground floor. We support 70 local makers, and we use that as an incubation unit for them to test the product. And we hope to continue to help them grow their business into the future. And then we have the hub area, which is a co-working space, and we have 9 resident entrepreneurs who are starting and growing their business within that area as well. And then we do meetups and stuff on a regular basis and workshops to bring that community together. So that's where we're at today. And it's been, real positive change for the local area. It's brought people together. And we have, exciting plans for the future as well, which I've been working on over the past 2 months during lockdown. So we're excited to hopefully launch them in a couple of months with our new vision and strategy with that.
Wonderful, Jenna. And you provide a platform and an outlet for the artists and writers and workers, home crafts, people of all sorts in Kilkeel.
We do that obviously in our retail space in Kilkeel, but then we also do that virtually as well on our online e-commerce site. So, which has been a blessing throughout 2020, because we've been able, even though we've been closed, we've still been able to have, sell online, which has been a lifeline to suppose some individuals, on, creatives that haven't been able to go to markets or events that they would normally go to throughout the year. So again, we're just continuing to grow that.
Wonderful. So even during the dark times of lockdown, you created an opportunity for other people to create things and to sell them and so on. Well, another person who is in that shop the first time that I went there was a young woman called Wendy Graham Hanna. And Wendy, you pointed out a book to me with many colours in it. Do you have that book there? Once Upon a
Yes,
Lockdown.
so the book was designed by a young boy in Kilkeel here by the name of Harley Houston, a very creative young boy. He designed it, front and back cover, but the book was mainly, it was a community project, and just with myself and Alicia, one of the other ladies working in Maidenmorn, just as part of a creative enterprise. We thought it would be a good idea when the whole world was locked down and standing still. We put out a wee challenge to the local children in the community and said, would you like to create a little piece of art and send it to us at Maidenmorn, and we would try our best to write a little tiny story to accompany it. And I think by doing that, the children were able to go places when physically we couldn't go places. So, it took us on a journey, and there are 33 pieces of original artwork, over 100 pages in the book. And it was all very kindly put together by Jenna and folk in Maidenmorn. And we now have a little book that we never thought was going to happen, actually, Tommy. It was just something online for the children to do. So when it came into fruition, we couldn't believe it.
Beautiful. Well, Wendy, as I say, you were there in that shop the first time I went there, and you seem to be very much at home there. How important is an outlet like this for writers and musicians and artists and so on, people like yourself?
The funny thing is, whenever Maidenmorn opened, I just must tell you, I used to look at it and say, oh, there's a lovely ambience in that place. I would love to work in there. And just it's a really inspiring place. It's creative. And I think because there are so many artists, Tommy, and creatives, over 70 now, I believe, you can't help but go in and, appreciate people's work and their own mind and their creativity and their skill, because that is something that perhaps has been lost in the whole manufacturing world, and so to have that hub area and to go in and to chat about, why people do what they do and what inspires them is, it's the ideal space for that.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Wendy, and looking forward to hearing some of your poetry later on in the programme as well. Jenna, I'll come back to you for a while. These type of outlets, we have some beautiful little places in Rostrevor too, like Belinda's Good Crack Shop and Mary Hanna and the book corner, providing an outlet for crafts workers, local people. And I suppose it gives a better insight into the area than anything else could, and certainly your shop is very much like this. How do people get in touch with you?
You can shop online on our website, just at maidenmorn.com, or again, just if you want to drop us a note, you can just email us through our contact page on the website. They will be kind of our main channels of contact.
Thank you very much, Jenna and Wendy.
Fantastic.
Well, I suppose much has been written and will be written about Rostrevor and Kilkeel, but it'd be very difficult for a book to clutch within its covers the rich essence of either place or both places, and even a little peek of a film or a kick of a video like this cannot do it either. But we'll keep our eyes open and we'll have a look around the place someday. Come with us. Oh, Rostrevor and Kilkeel, around and in between, there's more than a road full of speeding. Anywhere you stop on the banks of the loch, there's a feast for the eye full of freedom. Mountains every side, a painter's paradise. There can be no better place to be. So won't you come along to the sound of the song? Together we'll see what we can see. What's that there? What's that there? It was on a summer's evening, and all in the month of June. I'd have been a weaver and was waiting at my loom. As scissors able sweetly cut the shackles when we flew. When I first composed these verses on a made of pine. Try it again.
That's the most complicated drum kit ever. Bronagh, you're looking over the legendary half door there, and Bronagh Kelly, one of the Kelly family from Rostrevor, a family of musicians who have been playing for years and playing lovely music in all sorts of places and warming people's hearts when things were low. Your mother and your father were very interested in it too. Your mum was writing poetry up until the end, wasn't she, Bronagh?
She was indeed, Tommy. Yes, her last poem was about the Gateway Club, and I think I have to get another book because I've actually found more poems, so I have.
Really?
I have found, yes, we were tidying Mum's house up in Rostrevor and Church Street, and I have come across poems that I didn't even know Mummy had written. More poems.
Yes.
So
fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, there was one poem in particular which is got a sense of nostalgia about it, a sense of love of growing up in a certain place and in a certain way and missing some of those precious little things. And it's called The Half Door.
Oh, yes.
Would you give us a little bit of it, and maybe we will be joined in a virtual way as well as maybe a spiritual way,
yes,
by your mum as we go on.
Oh, I really would be so chuffed to do that for you.
Lovely, Bronagh.
The Wee Half Door by our mother, Alice Kelly. It served to keep the hens out and ducks and geese galore, but Prince the dog and the 2 young cats would have jumped the wee half door. Me father, he'd lean over it content with his pipe, just scanning round the country and what people were about. And every year, come the month of June, a coat of paint it got, for its wood was inexpensive and the paint would hide the rot. But to me, that wee door was priceless, how it let in God's daylight. The big door wasn't used at all.
Well, not till it was night, and hikers on their bikes who stopped
Just
to take
a
a rest. Father would invite them into our humble little nest. And I could see they were intrigued with the fan bellis and stone floor. But what they admired the most was indeed the wee half door. Well, time went by and we grew big. The house was doomed for change. The open fire was taken out to make way for the range. But for me, the saddest day of all that made my heart feel sore was the day I watched the carpenter rip off our wee half door.
Beautiful, Bronagh.
Oh,
Beautiful.
I was saying it in my head in unison with Mummy.
Yes.
I was listening to her saying it.